Okay, everybody, we're here with Taino, the host of the Galactic Talk, who was so gracious to host me for my first YouTube. And he put up with me for a couple of hours. So we're having him back to see what makes Taino tick. How you doing tonight, Taino?
I'm well, Andrew. So thank you of inviting me. It's well appreciated.
Oh, you're welcome, man. You open my eyes to so much stuff on your channel. Um, let me close this so people can see. Here's Taino's channel, and it's so interesting. I recommend it to so many people. I'm back on Facebook. I'm back on Twitter. I'm going to be putting your stuff out there and getting it in front of new audiences and see what people think.
I appreciate this, Andrew. You're welcome.
You deserve it, man. Really. This is great content. People need to know this stuff. I'm surprised you don't have 3 or 4 times the amount of subscribers you do now. I mean, they must be dinging you on that stuff, huh?
Well, I don't remember if I told you this. The whole, I'm gonna say the whole purpose. Well, obviously, it's to assist, right? Anyone who would have who would have experiences with UFOs, metaphysical ones, you see, and that's probably hard to share with your small circles or relatives. So this came out, funny as it is, it came out of a few classes on civics and law. um, I was doing with other people, locally, and then starting doing, recording those videos. And at the point, I don't remember when exactly. I just knew. You know what? It was as of a call, and I just knew that, what? Okay, yeah, I should continue doing it and talking about my experiences, but going now at I'm gonna say going now at interviewing or having sessions with different people from different spheres, of the globe, from different walks, different age, you see, and all about the galactic uh, origins, you see, of the things, and showing them, who am I, or who I am, but not the physical being, but the I'm going to say dimensional uh, being that I am, and where I've been, and why I came on the earth plane, you see,
Mm-hmm.
41 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I just entered into this. I've been doing this for less than a month, so you got way more experience than me, man.
All right. All right.
That's why I came to you, and I was so happy you took me on. We're getting great rave reviews on that video too. People are like, wow. There and more people discover it all the time. And now that I'm back on Facebook and Twitter, things might go crazy over there. I hope they do.
Well, the knowledge is for the people, right? And a lot of us know that each of us, right, or open up new consciousness or new dimensions based on your own journey. So uh, it's a path of, I'm gonna say, patience, and obviously not everyone. So a lot of people has been saying this, but it is a fact though. Not everyone's gonna come up, you know, to these, let's say, special talks or special topics right from there, you see, for obvious reasons. The way things have been controlled, you see,
Hmm.
by different factions. So it's a journey of patience and obviously self-discovery. Yeah.
Yeah, I love this path. I wouldn't be anywhere else right now. I'd be very unhappy if I wasn't doing this. How about you?
um Of course. And you know what? You could always recall through your previous years, always some situations that make me you think that you were actually about this, but there's always some points of breakthrough where things happen and it's really like, oh, all right. So now there's no way back for me, or I can't even ignore this, you know. I'm walking, or we're walking that path and there's no way back. So of course. Uh, well, obviously with the recalls, I it was part of my mission, but at the same time, things were on pause. You see,
Hmm.
during my Earth experiences, there's time that things were on pause, but not full pause. But you see what I'm seeing, right? Uh, I know as a child, there's things that were being manifested, but during my teen years, it were dormant, or it would put on a pause for for a little time until in my 20s or probably late teen started to have those real life experience, but on other dimensions. And then in the 20s, things has been manifesting, bit by bit, until a point that, hey, listen, that's the way to go. You see, or that's the way to embrace it. So I agree with this, though.
Yeah, when the universe sends you signals, boy, you gotta see them. Not seeing the universal signals sent your way is a
Yeah,
painful way to live, isn't it?
yeah, true, true. You're definitely right on this. Mhm.
Yeah, every day I walk outside and I just love nature. I don't pray in the house. I take my prayers outside. Have you ever tried that?
Taking the prayers outside.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Um, I'm gonna share this. Remember back in it, just to show you the link with nature. So, um, you see, my parents were born on the island of Ayati, right?
Hmm.
Which you have today, the Republic Dominican or Dominican Republic and the Republic of AD. So I was on the western part of the island. So where my grandma, yeah, she was there physically. So we were in the country, so by our house. And I remember like one night, as I was chilling and wanted to go to sleep. So a frog, because where I was actually sleeping was next to the front door, a wooden front door. But the wooden front door would have a gap between the top part and the beginning of the ceiling. So so imagine that's the top door and that's the top of the ceiling. You see, so here there's a gap. So out of nowhere, a frog came on top of the front door and stayed there all night long. You see,
Wow.
but looking towards the outside. And um, so, what was the whole meaning of it? Because it was my first time that I was going back to the island. So this is, there was an ancestral spirit that came manifesting as a frog,
Hmm.
but came here and stood by the door for protection, but at the same time to uh, give me a sort of initiation, demonstrating that um, ancestral spirits are within nature and every time with you. You see,
Yeah.
inside of you, around you, and really, you see, these are experiences that within nature that always, you see, made me plug myself with the environment, you see. And yeah, um, that was one of the breakthrough moment when I particularly probably more express when it every time if I had to talk or think or talk but telepathically or prayers meditating, you see, I always felt I always felt one with the environment and nature, you
Yeah.
see. Yeah. And I don't want to say talking like, because uh I was when I grew up, right, was the where I'm at, the household was a bit Catholic, but not really rigid. My pop is a Mason, you see, dealing with occultists, but still, that was probably the reason why I was not being raised, with rigidness on Catholicism. But you see, when you're trained to, pray to looking at up and everything, I don't want to say, that's wrong whatsoever, but that wasn't the suitable tool for way to me, you see. So, but we all come to a for all the one that is returning on earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's always a moment you have to go through these experiences, uh, you see, whether they're not suitable for you, only to make a contrast of what you should do and what doesn't probably work with you, you see.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah. I got a frog story too. A couple years ago or 3 years ago, I can't remember, 2 or 3 years ago. I was doing some work with Pepe memes. You know who Pepe the Frog is? Taino.
No, please inform me.
Pepe the Frog is the symbol for the 17th letter of the alphabet, or Q.
Yeah.
And I was doing some frog memeing one night, and I went to my kitchen, and there was this little tiny frog walking on the glass of my
Hmm.
kitchen window. He was stuck to the glass, and he was just inching his way around the glass. It was the very strangest thing. I've never seen a frog on a window. Have you?
On a window,
Yeah.
no, no, no.
And
On a
he was
window,
stuck
no.
to it too. Like, it reminded me that some little toys they gave us when we were kids that would stick to the glass and then fall down. It was very strange. I'll say
Oh
that
yeah.
much. I got a picture of it, but it was one of my old phones, so I don't have it anymore.
Mm.
Of
Wow.
course.
No, frogs. I only have this moment, this experience. And you know what? What's funny? When he came that evening, actually, I was not going to bed right away because it was around, December 25th. So uh, back then, you had all the cousins, uncles, and aunts just chilling there, you see. And the frog with all these activities was being there,
Yeah.
stay there. So around 3, I was looking, still there. 4, still there. 5, still there. I probably did not sleep that much. And the morning, still there, you see.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was all the message. So when you're on the island, my father used to tell me this, other people too. So there's mystical things that's happening, you know, um, everywhere. But it's only there's something really particular on that island, and when you have the luxury or the let's say the opportunity of living uh, these are like a strong marks through your journey.
Mm-hmm.
It's something, yeah, it's something that you cannot forget. And you see this had happened probably more than almost 20 years,
Mm-hmm.
and I still remember as if it was yesterday.
Yeah, frogs were one of the biblical plagues of Egypt.
Yeah, but you see, uh, whenever things happen, listen, I remember, uh, yeah, but when things happen, is uh, I tend to not look at the, let's say, physical, what you're saying,
Yeah.
but more the subtle realities, you see. And obviously, this wasn't a frog just coming up over there. No, it's a being that's manifested, uh, or um, came and just transformed its himself or herself as that animal and just came here. You see, so yeah,
Yeah, I had experience the other day. I went out to pray and remember I told you about that leaning tree I have because of the ferry? There
yeah.
was there was a hawk flew out of the leaning tree and he flew around to another tree on my property. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then a day after that, he was sitting in another tree across the creek, and he made a couple of sharp cries, and he came and he did two circles over where the ferry was photographed, and then he flew over towards the Eternal Flame Creek, or the Eternal Flame Creek Falls. I mean, he flew towards the falls.
Oh, really? Huh?
Yeah, it's like they're saying hi to me, and I've never seen a hawk circle my yard once in 20 years. And
Oh,
this one
wow.
did it twice after he flew out of my tree. I don't know if it was the same hawk, you know, full disclosure there, but that was pretty cool.
It is. You see, so instances with animals, what I've learned is um, not saying the animals, but the essence or the entities, you know, that was, or, that use that animal visibility, or you see, to send you that message.
Yeah,
So it is fascinating, when you had to go through these experiences and later you learn, bit by bit, you see. Um, it's something really fascinating.
it is. And I'm always grateful when that happens, and then I find that it happens more.
Really, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Wow.
find if you stay in gratitude, if you're having problems, like I just got a letter from my town that they're after me about a vehicle I have in my yard. They say I can't do that sort of thing, but I can't let that bother me. I gotta
Hmm.
stay in a positive mood. How do you feel about that? How do you do something like that, Taino? Do you practice gratitude?
Oh, every time, you see, every time. Um, you know, learning from my parents as a youngster, you see, and when someone would visit or you would visit someone, you see, you always, you know, salute them or greet them, but that was a form of gratitude. And later on to martial arts, it amplify because you see, when you acquire special skills or whatsoever, um, it's not really to, stun yourself, or it's not about those ego, you see, or egos manifestation. No, it's about, you know, um, respecting, but at the same time too, giving thanks to who you had acquired that special information or special skills. So, and through mystery schools, it develops the ability to always see that there's always, hierarchical, groups of dimensions that works with you, and the fact that you don't know everything, you have to give thanks because it's a what I've seen. It's a golden key. It's a golden cosmical key that will open your doors. That will open your doors for you to receive special instructions. You see, or
Hmm.
special information or special initiation. So yeah, gratitude is something that's That's what I'm calling it. You know, it's a cosmic golden keys or cosmic golden pass that's gonna open your doors. You see,
You're
for
not
gift.
kidding. And that prayer I learned from your show from Azariah Bay, that prayer is just absolutely amazing. I'm telling people about it, and the smart ones are adopting it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You see, yeah. And what's really interesting regarding that thing is, there you could adapt it to yourself. You see, so shout out to Azaria Bay, right? Because yeah, the order of cosmic comics. Yeah, yeah. So I'm just waiting on my for my copy. But yeah, you could take that. Yeah, dedicated to you. I am. Mhm.
Isn't that awesome? I mean,
Oh, that's powerful, actually. Yeah,
and like I said, I opened it to Tesla. I'm like,
there it
what?
is. There it is. There it is. But that formula that he shared. You see, we got to know that this has been shared from I don't know how long, and when you have the core of that mantra, you could adapt it to yourself, but always having the core thing of it, you see. And when you're applying it with, depending on your level of, I'm gonna say, occultism, or the esoteric recipes, you could adapt it and have in your home, you see. But you just know that it's not yours because it's for everyone. Well, everyone who has the appropriate, I'm gonna say, energy within their specifically the art chakra, you see, to do goods to the other beings, you see, wherever they are, plants, spirits, cosmical, deities, name it, you see. So yeah.
It's such a beautiful book. I mean, I,
Hmm.
I don't even want to open it, but I'm gonna read it, I'm
Oh
gonna
yeah.
read it. It's just fascinating.
And like you mentioned, it is he- I'm gonna paraphrase. He mentioned that's your book. That's gonna be your story. You see, so it's fascinating that the fact that you have it, and just when we started, that communication, a lot of things, right? For that small time, we've been sharing a lot. And listen, you came to Osiris Bay information, and boom, look, today, November. I want to be confused, but I forgot what day, which date is it? But you have it. So uh, things are working really, and everything is, for me, it's mystical. You see, uh, what we see when we step outdoors, and what we see, below the levels, and the subtle realities. That's what it is, really. And all the things about all the things about well, we already know it. There's no such thing as black people, white people, whatsoever. uh, Now more than ever, it's really now, beings who manifesting that good vibrational frequencies, to really work in pairs, you see, and to go over the residues of the programming, or I'm gonna say negative programming, you see. Or I'm not talking to Andrew because on this earthly planes, years appears as a, uh white Jude. That's been part of, that's really been caught in the residue of this programming, you see. So Yes,
Yeah.
indeed.
Yeah. I think we're here to alchemize all of this, all the past stuff we've been through, don't you?
Yeah.
Change it into something else and alchemize it and get all that old energy out of here, right?
Yeah. Obviously, it's not an easy task due to the fact that we've been seeing. You see, but it's working. I've seen confirmation from communications with beings, um, what we would call the different type of manifestation. So it's happening. Obviously, things are not happening like this.
Oh,
No, but it's happening. Yeah, yeah.
yep. Everybody's got to choose, pick a lane, good or bad. They got to pick a lane, right?
Yeah. You see, but it's not easy. I get this. Uh, then again, I'm gonna say due to the residue of the negative programming, and that negative programming was so deep. You see, but it takes courage because you're gonna think by yourself. You're gonna think different. You might lose some friendship. You might, you know, you might be saying, "Oh, that guy is spooky," but whatever. But hey, I mean, what's your at the end when it's part of your journey, you have to look what's really um, what's really your true reality. You see, make friends just to make friends or whatsoever, or really, having my people, even though everyone might not get what you do, but you're doing it because it's the greater cause. There's a point, you just have to do it. You see, yeah.
Yep.
Especially when you have your recalls, man. These are recalls or confirmations to go along with the cosmic mission, you know, that you had to do, or you're still doing it.
Hmm. Have you had any UFO experiences yourself, Taino?
Yeah, but probably different. Um, I moved to near Ottawa, right? And since I'm here, I'm seeing stuff in the sky, activities, I just went to Montreal, and it's funny because you were saying this. So, traveling inside the car, I've seen two activities, you see, while I was on the highway. And you just knew that, hey, during the evening, that wasn't a plane. You see, that wasn't a plane. I mean, the way, the trajectory went like this, like fast, you see. And at the same time, too, I saw like another movement. And probably during, July here and August, uh, I've seen things every time, you see. I was, every time I was receiving the message of take a look, bam, I was seeing stuff. So for me, it was ships, you see.
Yeah.
Uh, but the way I was seeing them was the sometimes it differs like a ball of glazing light appearing as sometimes silver, sometimes as yellowish golden, and just moving. You see,
Hmm.
until recently, I saw like this. I shared it to Angela and probably Zaria as well. You see, I've seen this while I was meditating. No, no, communicating telepathically. All right, to beings that you know. So I'm gonna tell Syrians. You see, but that's really patrolling the upper layers of the atmosphere. I, I was, you know, telepathically communicating with them. And at a point, I've seen this, you know, probably 50 feet above my head, but to the corner of my eye, like a lightning, lightning lights, that just went. I cannot even like really describe the how fast it was traveling, right?
Mm-hmm.
But um, for that milliseconds, I felt a little bit scared. I said, wow, oh shit, I was not expecting this. But, in that short, and it's now where you see that time really, it's, um, it is something when you go on, when you see the other subtle realities you see, and you get to see this, you seeing like, now the upper layers or dimensions, and things happen so fast, but I did so many things in that small, probably, I don't know, 3 milliseconds, but so many things happen. And uh, but I knew what it was, you see. So um, it was only like beings manifesting by showing that, hey, you know, for myself and other set of group of people, that we're not alone in this, let's say, in this fight, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they're really they're really here. You see, there's some things that I cannot probably share, but um, let's say let's say in terms of law, there are some actions that we did. You see, to really in terms of what's going on now. You see, all around, but um, it's not me. Yeah, I took the leadership probably of composing those um, so I'm gonna say legal documents to really you see do the work that battle you know um, as in it is no when you go to a court and you have to battle, so it's really battle, right? So
Yeah.
but that message came from the beings, you know that's uh, part of my family, you know what I'm saying? So it's really that message that really said, okay, you know what, I'm going to do this on the physical realm, man. Now it's only one part of the war, so there's other stuff too that we have to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so in terms of UFOs, that's what it is. I'm seeing them. Yeah. Uh, Sometimes I can call and I'm seeing the manifestation, but I don't think that's gonna happen too much big because it has to appear only for me to have that strong, confirmation. Because there's other things now, that we must do. But of course, over the last 2 months and a half, I've been seeing stuff a lot in the sky at night, and even sometimes, around 7 6 when it's not that late. But every time I'm just, you know, looking, rolling my head and everything. I, j- it, but that's the message, That's a telecommunication. That's telepathically, and I'm being, knock and look. It's wow. You see. So I remember one time I was walking with with my empress and one of our children. And I was seeing it as we were walking. But you see, I know sometimes I should not do that, but I did that way that night just to that your relatives know you, how can I say though, to ease probably this awareness that when I'm talking, when I'm, uh, whenever things that I have to do, esoterically or, with the occult, they might not get it. Well, they just saw that ship that my empress saw that ship that night, you see?
Mm-hmm.
So that was only to ease stuff on on the physical realm that your loved ones might be able to support you without them knowing really the whole thing. So yeah, UFO sighting. It's something.
Um, would our guests like to ask Taino any questions tonight? We have another guest on the line, Anjula.
Mm.
Oh,
Is it Angela?
that's
Yeah,
Angela. That's Angela. So
that's me.
You got any
Yeah.
questions
yeah.
for Taino?
You guys
What's
can hear
going
me?
on? What's going on, Angela? Yeah.
I was just like a fly on the wall. I was
So that
being a fly on the wall. That's all. I'm enjoying the session.
Okay, well, we thought we'd let you in and see if you had anything to say. If you don't, that's fine too.
Well, I'm resonating with what he's saying as far as seeing things. I see things in the evening a lot. There's a lot of night traffic in the skies, and I'm seeing the different colors, and I know a plane when I see one. And I've actually caught them a couple of times in midair where they just totally stopped, you know. And so yeah, I totally resonate with you, Taino. And I'm seeing stuff every day. I'm sending you guys so many pictures. They're coming in like clockwork. So yeah, yeah, I'm totally with you on that. I definitely understand what you're saying. And as far as family resonating and all of that, they just don't see what we see, you know. So maybe one day they will. Yeah.
But you see, I came to the realization that when you share what you're seeing and it's being seen, that's enough, right? To not always talk about your works, what you're doing constantly.
Hmm.
Once someone of your relatives, well, if they're really about that, of course, you know, but when they're not really, you see, they may not really get the comparison whatsoever. And you
Yeah.
do share something that they are saying it, they'll have your they'll have your confirmation that okay, you are into something, but you know what, we're gonna leave you alone, but at the same time too we'll support you, you see.
Hmm.
So yeah, because sometimes it might be, well, obviously you see now, near Ottawa, near Chicago, you see, um near Buffalo, so we all here, you see,
Yeah.
having that chat, right? But look at physically where we at. So um, that's really good that we can do that. But with how many relatives that's you could do that sometimes. Oof. Uh, Not as much as one would want, right? Uh,
Right.
yeah, within the Asian family, so you do have your, those mystical events or, folklore stories that's being shared, you see. But then again, you 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 you're gonna find probably just a few, but very few who with whom you could share this. You see,
Truth.
so
That is a
Very
problem.
true. Very true.
that's what we're living with, right? So yeah, so I remember when I saw that ship, I was because first time I was with my mother-in-law, my empress. So I was seeing that ship probably 6 o'clock, evening. So it's still daytime. But that ship was moving like, it was exaggerating, not moving fast. But that was not a plane, you see. Probably the way I'm seeing it, I just knew, right? But with my relatives, they were saying, we're not sure. That's look like this, that's look like that, right? So I said, all right. But I would told them, you know what? I gotta go out because I just had a call and I had to do it. I wanted to explore and probably, uh, get more of those UFO sighting. But when I was walking that night with her, and I seen it so clearly above our heads, and it's at the right moment when I lift my head that it's crossing. You just seeing it, and I say, you know what? Uh, I poke her and I say, look upstairs. You see, look up, and boom. You see. So um, whenever you get a chance and someone that was going to support you, it's always good to let them know, you see, but without forcing this, you see, without forcing them. Oh no, listen, I've seen something, let's go, we got to study it. No, no, because the whole purpose sometimes is for them to embrace that part of your reality so that they can support you, you see, on, on the physical realm, because support, it's it's needed, you see. There's I don't think there's things that one can do alone, unless, even though if you're advanced, there's always things that uh, you always need support, you see. So yeah.
True.
Yeah, it's hard to get around this world without support, I'll tell you that. Oh boy. So do you
Yeah.
feel we're close to any kind of formal disclosure or anything with them or from the government?
Mm. It depends where you're at, Andrew. Because I remember, reading some books of Radu Sinomor. So that's the Romanian author, right?
Mm-hmm.
And with the type of information that he talks, right, of him, working with the one of the Romanian, let's say, secret services, and seeing, other worlds, or seeing like underground cities, you see, or taking tunnels that led him and his groups, to Tibet, to Iraq, you see, but from Romania, and with the advanced technologies that they're saying and everything. So I really vibrating with this. So if we would be within that area, I would say there's stuff that already been disclosed, you see.
Mm-hmm.
Here, so I'm gonna use the popular term, like U.S. and Canada. Of course not, because it's been planned as it is to not give that much disclosure. Yes, you do have soft disclosure, in movies, in video games, especially video games, cartoons. Uh, but I've seen that part of North America, comparing to probably Central, the islands, or the South, um, it's been a taboo for many decades.
Mm-hmm.
You see, so it's like the disclosure is, I find it a little bit slow. From the government, no, because we already know.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I'm laughing.
yeah, no worries. Um, for the government, no, because they're not really about your birthright, you see, and there are corporations. So, uh, but you might find good ones within those sectors of groups
Mm-hmm.
that might want you disclose some of the things for sure. But now, if you're looking at the faction that's really against the people, they're not going to do that. You see,
No,
Mm-mm, mm-mm, you see.
no.
But that's what the whole fight, on the different levels, undergrounds, on the surface, you see, and within the different layers of the atmosphere. So that's, you know, th- it's small, but it does make its impact. So you see what we're doing now,
Mm-hmm.
those chats. That's gonna help, to reach different people that's on the surface, you see. And I, I'm seeing that's the way disclosure is gonna take more of his sleep, but
Hmm.
not government. No,
No,
not now, not now, not now.
no. I heard. I've been listening to POD. I've been fascinated with. Ever heard of the band POD? Taino?
POD, not to my
P-
knowledge. No.
POD. It's payable on death. is
Mhm.
is the band, okay?
All right.
And they lean towards Christian style music, but not like hillbilly Christians or anything like that. I sent one of the pieces to Angela tonight and she loved it. It's called Beautiful. And I found an Easter egg in one of their songs where they sing about underground bases in the song. It's clear on the radio and on my recording that I play. But when you pull up the lyrics for this song, you can't find underground bases listed anywhere in the lyrics.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah. Is that weird or what?
Well, it is. I'll have to listen to this.
I could
I'll
send it
have
to
to
you.
listen to this for
I
sure.
could send it
For
to you
sure.
along with the words. And I went over this. I invited the public to go and listen and read. Nobody bothered, but I've been finding these Easter eggs, I call them. That's what they call them. Have you ever heard of an Easter egg?
Easter egg? No.
Yeah. It's a little bit of truth hidden in a public message.
Okay, okay. That's how it call, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm familiar with that strategy for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's what I found in the POD song. And I found that quite interesting because we've been hearing about underground bases for years now. And we hear that that battle is finally over, they're saying. But I don't think people realize how ancient those things were. You
of
know,
course. Yeah, of course.
what do you think about that? They've been there a while, right?
Oh yeah. Um, you know, so I'll take that example. I don't have recalls of me going to the underground base, but you know, on Saturn, I was when the one of my fresh memories about there was I was living on the subterranean you know civilizations, but that was on a higher vibrational frequencies, you see. So, and other places as too, such as Vega. But here they're ancient. Well, some are ancient and some are man-made, or with the collab of certain beings, right? Or let's you want to call it certain eating beings, but you still have um very very civilizations that's living there, you see. Humanoid, but obviously not on the same vibrational frequencies like on the surface, but it's there for sure. I mean, then again, I'm gonna take that example. So growing up, I would hear stories about people that would go in the water and boom, they've been in our time they would go probably a few weeks, months, but in theirs, or the people that would do it, they would simply go to the underground worlds, you see, and going through water without being wet, and coming back then again without being wet. So these are realities that if you go by conventional science, uh, they might not be to explain this, you see, or even comprehend this. But for sure, underground bases, you have it from the Atlantean. You still have, Lemurians, people that's, you know, one of my Earth experience, I was walking as a Lemurian, right? So I remember that for sure, we're still here, you know. Lemuria, although it says it vanished at the physical surface, but it's still there. You know, uh, the Lemurians, what we did, we scattered ourselves. You see, to those underground civilizations. Then again, on the different type of vibrational frequencies. You see, uh, I know there's a cave where I visit in AET, right? So it's called uh, Majan, or in French, Marie Jeanne. So at the time when I went there, I didn't know it was one of the entrance to a deep underground bases and civilization, but it's later on that I, put the pieces together. But when I went over there, I've seen, because I'd have to send you pictures. So when you go there, it's really a tropical garden, and then you have to walk your way down, and then there's the entrance of of the cave. You see, but there's mm, when there's still some footprints for you to see. You see a lot of quartz crystals. You see on the rocks inside the caves. But that's key when you know what's going on. And but in the tropical garden on itself, you had those two trees. They go by the indigenous term of Mapu, which is the Arawak. You see, and these are magical trees that even that I heard some accounts that when people would walk by trees, they would see like another world. You see, but because these are some of these trees, they're really magic. So that's why the term Mapu, because Pu it's for wood, and Ma it's grandiose. You see, majestic. So those trees, some serve as portals. You see,
Mm.
and yeah, and funny story. I remember there's a lady. That's what my father was saying. That she was walking in the country. So you had this Mapu, right? Was standing up, upright, and she was walking. She looked probably to do something and keep her walk, walk. And the tree was like this,
Yeah. Wow.
blocking her path. Yeah. So imagine this, right? Couple of seconds, you see a tree like this, and then you're seeing like this, but not even, with the roots of whatsoever. But anyway, just to let you know that those trees are magical trees. And, we all know trees are living, but once could go, those trees have portals that if you are accepted, you could walk through them and go through, etheric worlds, you see, cities. So but coming back on that place, Majan cave. Yeah, so on the outside, I saw those trees. Then I saw, um, rocks, but reefs. You see, I said, "Wow!" So that means information came to me that okay, wow. So it used to be part of a Atlantean settlement, you see. But that was probably that time. It's later on, when I start to get some information that there are some portals on the island, whether on water or through, specific places where, yeah, you could access those inner civilizations. Um, and it made me think, like, studying a bit there and there, here, in Canada. So the places where you have mounts or mountains, or even on the continental U.S. There's so many places. Well, throughout the world, so you have bases everywhere that's ancient. You know,
Mhm.
access to inner civilization, but some, yeah, were made. Um, Probably not for the better part of or better cause of humanity. You see.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I've heard of uh on the West Coast somewhere. I don't know where it is, but I've heard someone describe a pyramid complex bigger than the one in Giza or Gaza or whatever, Giza, yeah, the Giza Plateau in Egypt, and they're hiding it through they're blocking it out on Google Maps,
Mm-hmm.
and they're blocking the flight patterns around it. You can't fly over it. But the way this person described it, this pyramid complex somewhere on the West Coast, they can't hide it forever. And when something like that becomes known to the public, it's on private land right now. Wouldn't that cause a big stir if something like that was found in America?
Oof. Well, only on the American continent, there's a lot of wonders. Sometimes we call wonders from, the aesthetic beauty, but when you able to know the essence of those natural places, they're, true wonders you see on the different reality, you see. So now, but then again, to see those things, wonders, it takes preparation, you see. One cannot go and out of the bloom be a witness to it, because what you're going to do with their own vibrational frequencies, even through their cells, are they going to cope with that where they're seeing, right? So for instance, some yes, depending on the what's going on, some no, you see. um I'll come back, so I'll give like this analogy. Then again, on the island, I went to, so these are waterfalls. They're called Sodo. So um, part of that place is, there's few mystical stuff when you can see them, but under those waterfalls, um, there's let's say, techniques that when you go under those waterfalls, you can go and purify yourself, right? So imagine I was doing it, and in my mind, I was asking what I wanted. So one was to seeking more light, and you know, do what I was do what I do things that I could do in the future that I'm doing now. You see, so and when I turned myself, imagine this, I was in front of a being. You see, but that being took me probably a minute to realize that it was a being, because it wasn't humanoid. Um, I can disclose this. So it was you see the number 8, it was a being semi-transparent, because I could see the water, but yet I could see all its luminous, you see, lights.
Mm-hmm.
So the being had a multicolored manifestation. But at first I thought, like, you know what, it's a spectrum of the rainbows that's hitting the water and the rocks. It I was speechless. So when I thought this, you see, there was a higher force that propelled me to look well. So now my sights was looking, at the forms. And when I found out, I said, oh, wow, it's not a rainbow anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's a being, but that was an initiation. You see, that um, it took me years, to be honest, to really get the message, but it was an initiation, you see, to letting me know that later on, for me to come back to that place, I would be able to access certain key information, you see, and probably go wherever, within those planes or realms, right? In order to seek this. But then again, there was, I was with people, and a lot of people were in the surroundings or probably just a few feet away. Imagine some people could not even see the being that I was seeing.
Yeah.
But a lady, which was my, she was there to really show me the places, you see, and she saw it, you see. But even there, I couldn't do that much because it takes preparation, you see.
Hmm.
Uh, could I go directly, go? Probably the being was probably 2 feet away from me, 3 feet away. But I stood there, you see, almost paralyzed, but feeling good. But could I say like, hey, I should I walk? Probably I would have been, to another, to the inner worlds, by within the island, probably. But I knew that it was part of an initiation. I couldn't do it boom, boom, boom. You see, because it takes you see you have to be prepared on the different levels, on the astrals, etheric levels. You have to be, and your consciousness has to embrace this. So now coming back to your questions, if the people or suddenly, get this information whatsoever, if it happens, because the alliance of beings are stating this, of course, but knowing how things have been manifesting, you need preparation in order to sit, at large scales. Because it might not do, it might not benefit if someone is not really, prepared on his consciousness. If he's not, she is not prepared, that's gonna be rough, you see.
Yeah. Boy, we're gonna have to help a lot of people in the days ahead, I think. I don't see him stopping disclosure, and having it more
No,
widely open.
of course, of course, you see, and you see, you're gonna get this from different um you angles. So you're seeing now, people that's being part of the super space program, secret space program.
Yeah.
Uh, this has been going on, right? Especially since the 90s, but oof, in the 2000, it really skyrocketed, rocket. But now you're seeing like people that's identifying, because just for the people, I'm a more, but I'm not referring myself to the physical term of being a more, but mostly as the galactic being that's being in different solar systems, but you know decided to come off the earth plane, you see, to keep my, let's say, to keep you know working on the consciousness homeworks that I had to do, but at the same time too doing that little thing that it would help whoever, you see. So it's really coming from there, you see, and that's my thing though. I go. I know I cannot emphasis and only talk about galactic stuff because it takes preparation, you see. Uh, okay, so let's look, on the inner civilization, but on the galactic perspective. Be able to do that, we have to, it's really baby steps. Because if we go at large and boom, it might not do the the greater work, it requires to. So, but eventually, as the as the connection is enlarging, there are some topics, let's say from this perspective, that's going to go a little bit more, intense, you see. So, yeah. So I've been glad, of having you, connecting with you, or you connecting with me, you see. Um, Same thing with Angela. I don't know Angela for on a physical Well, I don't know Angel. I probably know Angela for a few weeks, 2 weeks. Same thing for her. But you see, on a cosmical perspective, well, I feel like this. I knew her for a long time. You see, so and there's other individuals too. So Ozaria, I used to watch in the beginning of his 2000s his teachings and everything. But you see now, having him on the Galactic talk, um, I'm reaching to him like in a way I couldn't before, and we're sharing stuff, right? And he talks about things. And look, today, out of it, we both know each other, and you have his book, right?
Yeah,
So things work beautifully when you looking. I'm always saying when you're looking at it, from a galactic's perspective, that means know that you a multi-dimensional beings. You see, your body, physical body. Sorry, that's only the appearance, but that's not the vibrating. Um, I'm gonna say wonders about you, about myself, whatsoever. You see, and the connections. You see, so everything is interconnected. You see, so yeah.
definitely is. It definitely is. There is a strange connection going on. Like you said before, like when I first started talking to you, you said felt you were led to do a podcast with me, and I definitely felt led to do one with you. And then when I made my first one on my own, I was knocked off the couch sleeping in a dream. That was a really strange experience. And the universe just said, get going, and here we are.
Oh yeah. So say listen, Andrew. So that's another thing too, right? If we're looking only at the physical realm, do you see like, because you're from a generation, you're from a, Portugal place. I'm from a generation Portugal place. Would you say that, we would be hanging out if we would cross paths or whatsoever? Only looking at it on the physical, you know, realities, which are filled with a lot of programming, not for the good cause. I don't know, you see, or maybe not. But look, uh, knowing it's for, uplifting humanity, and your reality is much more than the street, looking at cars passing by the stadium. Your reality is, you know, it's much than this, right? So look, we have that boom, you see, interaction. And it didn't take long, right? It didn't take long. I mean, then again, uh, there was the unknown. Should I trust this guy? Or could I trust this guy? I don't know what to expect. But you have to feel, those higher senses and see, okay, you know what? Yeah. Uh something is gonna come good out of it. All right. So let's not look at the numbers of views, what's no. But something is gonna come good. And out of it, listen, that's what I say. Appearances, even in law, you see, color in law is what's look real, but it is not. So it's only an appearance. Then, I couldn't go or because of your last name or because I could have known that you were this. What that's gonna do? If I would go with that mindset, I would be caught in their programming. You see, because when I'm talking to you, I'm not saying myself, yeah, I'm probably indigenous whatsoever, but that's gonna think too. Uh, I'm not from Earth, you see, but I came here several times and now I'm here, so connecting with you. But when I look at you, I don't see so-called white guy. Mm-mm, you see, I'm just think I'm able to see the being, you see,
Mm-hmm.
uh, behind the physical appearance, you see. And listen, the other day you told me that, one of your probably grandfather, whatever, was a indigenous dark skinned Irishman, you see.
Mm-hmm.
And your great grandmother was it like,
It was my great grandmother was from Michigan. Her name was American Proudfoot,
uh-huh, you see?
which
All right.
I've looked it up. There's a lot of them in Michigan.
Yeah. And what people might not you if they're too much caught in the deprogramming, that individual that's she's your ancestor was a dark skinned lady. So you see, I mean, um, that's something to, being caught into the deprogramming. But that was the purpose of it, why they made that, that color cast system to make you think like this and this, you get caught, but really black and white. Then again, a lot of people might know it's only, you know, or you're part of the group that's controlling white, or you're the group who's being, oppressing black. That's what it is. Not even nothing to do with skin complexions, but your political status.
Right.
So, yeah. So,
I
and
learned so much from a seer, man. Oh my God. That guy just knocks me over. I'm still studying his stuff. I feel like I'm going to college with the seer.
hey, that's who he is. You see,
Yep.
and I studied his work before having us here on the Galactic Talk. You see, and some of his information that he's sharing would allow me to really enlarge my consciousness, but really gets to the point of things, you see. And you might not know it, but I remember last year, because the story of the Russian Revolution,
Hmm.
I was stuck because I was missing one missing key. And I did send him probably in 2019. Did the French that rampage the indigenous people on the island were Mars as well? So he didn't answer me, but that was good because through some of his information, and I plugged this and I plugged that, then I said, oh, well, that's what it is. The whole Russian Revolution from the beginning was, whether it's the Spanish, English, French, were all dark skinned groups of individual, you see, representing those, forces, and, going war with the indigenous people, that was already here. So, I mean, um, he's doing like, not only great work, but that's what he do. He is himself. He's expressing himself. When you look at him, he has his attire. He is who he is. Through his expression, but being him. Authentic. Authentic. Yeah. So he's a sincere one, man, and he's been doing that stuff for a lot of times, and he deserve. You see, he deserve to be recognized.
Yeah. I hope he connects with Jay Campbell, because Jay really wants to have him on his show. Um, I don't know if I sent you that or not, but it's not important. I just hope they connect. You know what I'm saying? That's
Mhm.
all. I feel very, very led to have those two guys talk, if at all possible. Not that they
Yeah,
have to. You know what I'm saying?
I got you. Yeah, yeah, but yeah, man, and there's so many people, Andrew. Man, there are so many people, man. So many people. I used to study them, and being able to having those talks, knowing, who they are, and, sharing those information to the people, you see. And well, the Galactic talk really was about me, the the being who travel the different part of, several galaxies, embracing the cosmic, I'm gonna say, footprint, um, but I really do the work to uplift humanity, you see, and coming with that different, probably different angle, you see, uh, and expressing myself, but you see, on a cosmic way, all right, on a cosmic way, and not, and what, superseding, those programmings that sometimes hindered individuals, you see. So, um, no matter where you're coming from, no matter where you're at, you see, um, that's what it is about, connecting
Mm-hmm.
and getting that information, you see, for the people. Yeah.
Yep. There's a group on Facebook you might like called the Decoders of Truth.
Mhm.
And Jay Campbell is one of the people that started it. If you go on there and join that group, they would love to see your video shared there.
Mm.
There's
Okay,
like
so
30 some thousand people in the group, and they're all like me. So look out. I'm gonna warn you.
please send me the link.
Okay. Yep. I'll
Yeah.
send you the
No,
link.
that, you know, I know it's good that you're saying this, laughing, but really, um, like I'm saying, the appearance, you see, of individual, uh, you gotta go, especially now. If someone wants really to strive, you see, mystically, or the way I'm seeing on the galactic perspective, you gotta go beyond your appearance. Listen, you see, I had different appearances in my different past lives. One might say that the reason why I have my profile with the blue, blue like being that's behind, um the humanoid, that which is representing me, that's how I was literally before entering, you know, um the portals of the of Earth, you see.
Hmm.
Literally humanoid, but with the physical representation of blue, but, gradient ones, to Saturns. Mm. If you look at my, if you would know my physical, let's say, or, um, appearance was gray, you see, and tall, you see, but really like in hold as well, but really in good shape, you see. And other places I had like a golden, skin complexion. So, uh when recalling this, and, studying law and civics, I really put the two together. It's like, oh, okay, see now. Yeah, you might learning on law and civics that, black, there's no such thing as black people what as well, but putting that galactic recalls, I say, oh wow, okay. Colors on this realm, especially on the surface, is really to trick you down, and
Hmm.
badly. So you see, um, that's why it's really key to go beyond the appearance of an individual. If someone can see light around them, it happens to me, Andrew. Sometimes when I see someone, I'm seeing a light. You see, even though I'm looking at you, but I'm seeing light. You see, sometimes it's the vibrational frequencies of the art. You see, so it's really key to use this and see these factors, or, this manifestation, instead of the physical appearance. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, that's really some good information there, Taino. Wow. I was raised not to see color at all. You know, my father told me we're all the same. So I tried to do the same with my children, you know. But the universe, or the dark universe, that wants us to hate each other, you know, that dark energy in the world, it's hard. It's They make it so difficult, you know, and that's one of my missions here, I believe, is to help cut through all that so we don't see each other differently, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, with what you told me, I didn't know that, but you know how many times people that may look as pale skin, uh, complexion, have indigenous dark skin ancestors? A lot, you see, and things, change in several generations. So when you told me about your grandfather, you see, and your grand, I don't know what's the level, but about that indigenous dark skinned women, well, there it is, you
Hmm.
see. So I was thinking of exploring this with you, and or you would have to bring this forward, you see, to break those, because it's gonna do wonders for you to share about this. Yeah, because you're gonna break that barriers that's coming from the residue, you see, of the um unsuitable programming, you know. So,
Hmm.
and that's gonna, and you'll be surprised how many people that's gonna relate, you see.
Yeah, I went to a talk one time with a Native American woman at a spiritualist church, and she
Mhm.
taught us all during this talk she gave that Jesus came to Native Americans, which I would now call melanated. You know, I'm
Mhm.
I'm watching a seer so much I would now say melanated. You know, I wouldn't even say Native American anymore. And he came to them and taught them his ways, just like he came to everybody else. And I
Mhm.
had no idea. Did you know that he did that?
Of course. Well, um you use that term. uh I'm not pretty good of saying it, but melanated, right?
Yeah,
Is that
melanated.
melanated? But he was melanated, individuals, you see. So this is not, there's come to a point, it's, you won't be surprised, because now that's how things were, in ancient times, you see. And I cannot reach to find my own conclusions, but through one of the books from Barbara, I forgot her last name, but she's the one that's made a book about the on the well, even the term, the Pleiadian, yeah. Like, give me a second, because I think it's Barbara. Okay, so it's the Barbara and Chloe, or Cloud, and Barbara and Cloud, right? So she wrote the book, The Palladian Agenda, and the information that she received was that, Yeshua um, did some training and works, you see, in Teotihuacan,
Mm,
right down, on the American continent. So I couldn't get some evidence for my own truth, but it's not surprising, because at a point, that's the thing, though. So melanated beings, you see, came forth with those civilizations, teachings, whatsoever. But not all melanated beings were for the good cause, you see. And
mm,
that's important to mention, because there's been wars constantly, you see. And some of the melanated beings were not for necessarily for the for the care of, they didn't have a care for humanity. So to go back to your questions, yeah, and you'll find a lot of you know um, well, it's key to mention that millennial beings will understand, okay, yeah, copper tone, dark skin, whatsoever, but there's to a point where uh, it's not really the skin complexion, but it's really the, like Rick Smith mentioned, well, it's the genetic code that you have without you. Because at a point, millennial beings are different shades, up to, even greenish, dark greenish. So, and which I learned through Radu, that on the ground near, one of the city of Apeos, I believe that they have a olive skin complexion, um, these in the underground cities. So, um, but that's, you know, Phil Valentine used to mention this. Rest in power to the great Doctor Devil Player used to mention this too. Anciently, long time ago, millennium beings had a greenish, skin complexion. But all of this is when you have that specific key, right, to using your consciousness, it's gonna open your door and seeing historical events in a completely different way. You see, from the conventional narratives. So
Wow, it's
keep going on.
fascinating.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Have you heard of the little people that have been running around Earth, like 3 or 4 feet tall?
Um, yeah. Y- I would probably say not running Earth. Probably have a strong on-hold on the at the surface of the world, but not the Earth, because you know there's different beings on the inside of the Earth, and you have guardians as well. And we might see that there are certain beings that, yeah, they do are involved in those, I don't want to say alliance, because now alliance is known, you know the let's say the regroup of different, beings fighting, let's say the cabal, whatever name you want to call them. But no, yeah, those beings, yeah, I never really interfere with these ones, but yeah, they're all they what I'm saying, they're controlling, you know things at the surface, you see, not the earth. Why I'm saying this, because of the information that I got is, um, you know Syrians are up in the upper layers of the atmospheres, you see, um, watching, acting as guardian as well, you see. But at the same time, too, uh, you have guardians, you see, and different, types of beings that's on the ground, but at the same time too on the area, going through more towards the inner core. I'm gonna say to the inner earth. You know, and there's places where you can't even access. You see, so that's what I'm saying, that uh, it's a little bit much more than this. You see, at the surface, what we see on the physical realm, that's one thing, but what's going on the ground, that's another thing. And that's one of the things with the indivisible war, you see, because there's actions, on the ground, you see, and with the help of the inner beings coming from the inner earth, you see. So yeah.
I heard it something the other day. I wanted to get your opinion on it. I heard that the jinn are actually Bigfoot, Have you ever heard anything like that? And they used to work against us, but now they realize that they can't get rid of us. So they're going to start helping us now. Have you heard anything like that?
Yeah, but you see, I did not have experience or probably my recalls with Bigfoot, right? But I've seen to information that you have both perspective, you have against, but you have for, the assistance of humanity, right? Um, there's those giants on the, in 80, you see. I remember that was shared by one of a friend of my father that walking at night, walking, and then, you know, it, a tree. What he thought was a tree. So when he looked up, right, he saw, wow, that wasn't a tree. That was the leg of a giant, you see? And, but whatever they're doing, you know what I'm saying? So technically, it was, I cannot pinpoint, but it was a way either for him to really, expand his consciousness, for him to further, do his works on here. But just like you, I'm only sharing this just to see that nothing happened really to the individuals. All right. So what I'm saying is the information I've got is no, you have different types of, giant beings. And I don't go with the fact that they all go against the people. Mm-mm, of course not. No, you'll have some which are with you for sure. You see, and then again, if you want to check this, you might check Radu Cinemore in the inner, yeah, the In Earth, the title of that book. So he calls about that story where um, he was with the presence of Dalai Lama. You see, that was a double agent, right? But he, for their mystical, discoveries, he used a Yidam, you see, the term Yidam, which was a gigantic being, but that he created. So now we coming now to another knowledge of occultism, you see.
Mm-hmm.
But literal gigantic beings, but that was his companion, you see. And you're seeing this even in Star Wars. Chewbacca, you know, what does he do? He provide assistance. I forgot like the name of the pilot, but you might remember. But that's what he's doing. So you have those instances, where they're only providing assistance to wherever they have to work with. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all I can say because I don't have recalls with Bigfoot, you see.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I just got them crazy photographs.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that picture of yours. Yeah.
I'm still waiting for the world to discover them, but
Yeah.
I suppose once they do, it's really going to get it crazy for me.
Yeah. But you see, I hopefully I know Sue Walker is going to be on the Galactic talk this Thursday. She does have information, probably personal experience, and I know as well Richard Smith, UFO teacher. Um, he has some experiences. You see, uh, we're gonna use the term Bigfoot, but he has experiences. So you might want to check if you want to know more as well. I could provide them your contacts or give their contacts to you. Yeah.
That would be great. I would love to
Uh-huh.
talk to somebody about it because it's such a strange thing, and I found him on 220. I mean, the
All right.
numbers say it all, right?
Yeah. But things about, beings that we hear with legends whatsoever, you might see them on the physical realms, but the thing is, they'll use various densities. You see, so sometimes that's what pushing, not pushing, but that's what I I'm putting probably emphasis of subtle realities, because sometimes what you're saying, you're gonna see them, but on a different, you know, reality. You see, so yeah,
Yeah, I'm on the creek. I think maybe the moving water has something to do with it, you know, because it's a small
probably,
creek, but it's always flowing, right?
yeah, of course, yeah, probably. And you know what, nature is, you see as water creek whatsoever, but just know that there's always, on the invisible realm, there's always entrances. You see, there's always entrances or connection to portals to you know those different venues.
Yeah, and it's strange because I used to feel a connection to this land like way before I moved here, 20 years before I moved here, I felt a connection here, you know. Have you ever
Mhm.
experienced a strange connection to something?
Oh yeah, yeah, numerous times. Oh yeah, like I told you before, first time I went on the island of Ayati, right, the 80. As soon as we were landing, I felt I've been there before. Well, it was my first time. Well, physically, it was my first time. You see, but again, you see, things works differently because probably I don't know when, probably a couple of years later, I was in the Dominican Republic, and that was still on the island, but not physically on the same side. And I had a moment of time traveling because I wanted to have that firm, confirmation, evidence for myself that yeah, my part of my ancestors were already on that island, and just by gazing, I was there was a river with little bushes and trees, and I was gazing while you know projecting what I wanted to see. And guess what, Andrew? I was seeing, along the bank of the river, you see,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, you know, ancient people that were really using the same water that was looking at. And I've seen this compilation. I said, bam, there it is. You see? So I have my confirmation. So that's where, later on, I wanted to, prove this, but, physically with my blood, right?
Hmm.
And shout out to Toriano Bashago L, all right, and Tyrone Cannon. They have a way where, with if you get your DNA, they have a way really to get and pinpoint the real truth and not the information coming from the DNA company, which unfortunately don't give you the real story. You see, and that as well. There's a way to really work with the genomes and to really pinpoint this. So what I saw with my, I'm gonna call it metaphysical experience, I wanted to confirm it. Because listen, if I would go to my people, oh, you see, listen, our people were already on the island. You see, I've seen it. I had the time travel. How many people are really, listen to me? A few. You know how it is. You share stuff, mythical physical experience. Who's that crazy guy? What are you talking about? What's your proof? But my proof, I had it. You see, but that's my proof. But we've been so trained to always have, that tangible, you see, and you should be able to really sometimes, things are intangible. You should be able, to really detect whether it's false or true. You see, and there's ways of doing this. That's what I'm saying. Like, if someone can see colors around some individuals, well, the individual is stating this, he's gonna know, or she's gonna know. You see, or even in the voice when someone is stating something, it's subtle, but you're gonna get those on higher vibrational frequencies. You'll be able to either probably feel or see the waves of stating whether it's true or not. You see, so uh, yeah, so connection with places, of course, yeah. And when it happened, just know there's always something more, but on a subtle level to rediscover. Yeah.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Angela has interesting pictures. It made me think about something I heard that water is much more important than we realize, and you can't even take a breath or hear a sound without water because water in the atmosphere transmits sound to your ear. So the really importance of water, people have yet to realize that, don't you think?
Oh yeah. Um, Dr. Asaru Alimbe was talking about how you could manipulate your DNA, you know, um, especially by stating an experience or the experiences from the Japanese doctor that you mentioned when you were on the show, right? So you have your account with it, right, Andrew?
Mm-hmm.
And using it, it does what it does to you, right?
Yeah.
But hey, at the waterfall, what I was asking, you see, underneath, because I was underneath the water,
Mm-hmm.
see, as it was falling. Uh, I could probably not really describe scientifically how it happened, but I was only using the higher properties of the water, so that's why the the light being that had no humanoid form came. You see, and you know what? I came to learn that that waterfall comes from the inner earth.
Mm.
So you see, um, so coming back to your questions, of course, because you have higher properties and not properties to not properties that we must use our physical sense of it. You see, they're really stuff that we might say intangible. You see,
Mm-hmm.
but they're there.
Yeah.
They're there for sure. Oh
Have you
yeah.
ever heard of primary water? The earth makes water constantly. Did you know that?
Say that again.
The earth makes water constantly. It's called primary water. I heard it from Deborah Tavares. She said that Muammar Gaddafi was using it to make Africa a breadbasket and feed people. That's the real reason they went in there after his gold.
That makes sense. But you would know that there's a there would be any there would be metaphysical properties for sure. You see,
Yeah.
for
So
sure.
they said they were going after his gold, but they were really after that water.
Oh yeah. It's like, the place. Okay, yeah, so it's like Iraq, right? Saying petroleum whatsoever. Mm-mm, you know, it was really to invade and get tried to get a hold of those hyper advanced technologies that's on the subterranean levels, below the surface of Iraq. You see,
Mm-hmm.
so coming back now to the word Earth, of course, because you have the inner Earth, right? You have the inner Sun, right? And let's say it's one of the causal plane that gives our water. So you have interior water, you see, but you have, it's like, before tapping to this, gene decode was explained that, below every uh, water current, whether it's big lakes, whatsoever, you have another lake, another river on the lakes, right? And but through higher vibrational frequencies, you had this formation of water that's from the inner earth and in the or the inner sun, and producing that water that we see, you know, at the surface. And at the same time, too, there's an interaction between, the inner earth water and the upper layers of the atmosphere with the water at the same time, too. You see? So
Hmm.
it's all integrated, you see? So the surface of the water, I wouldn't call it the primary one. You see, depending on the angle that we're seeing it, but knowing that uh, it's it comes from the inner, inner earth, it's only an interaction between those different realms, inside of what we call earth. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Wow, this has been a fascinating talk, Taino. People are gonna love this. I know they are.
Well, hopefully, yeah. You see, and you see, in all talks, there's things that to really go on the details of things. Um, I think it's always there's always a way of addressing topics, and you know what we may know at that time, and just really gives a proper comprehension of things, you see, for people can embrace and then go to another level, you see, of comprehension, and on, depending on you know the information that we know, or yeah. So hey, I'm glad, Andrew.
Yeah, I see information coming out hot and heavy after things get crazy, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Such
So,
as what, Andrew?
well, I can't really say right now, Taino. I really wish I
Okay.
could. I don't want to sound like an idiot though. So
No, no
it'll have to
worries.
come out in its own due time, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get this. Yeah.
I will try to bring out the best information I can though. So my research is telling me great things are right around the corner.
Hmm.
So I'm telling people to start laughing, start hugging their family, start loving people again. That's my message.
Yeah, especially, yeah. But I get this. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
But we're going to get real busy when all that information comes out,
Well,
you know?
I see that we're already, that's what I'm saying, with the gradual things. Listen, for myself, any metaphysical things that I went through, or even, studying, being initiated in the mystery school, it's gradually that I go to this information, or I get embraced, with information. Because if it's coming too harsh or whatsoever, nah. But the work that's being done, and you've seen it, because it's not something popular. This, will it be aired, on popular mainstream? No. Well, we already know the reason, right?
Yeah.
But if we're doing it in these times, it because it is necessary for how things gonna turn out in an hour, in a week, you see, in a month, in 6 years. So
Yep. And it takes a real vision to see that.
indeed,
It really
indeed.
does. Because this is a thankless position, as you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No doubt.
Definitely. I mean, I just got back on Twitter and Facebook after being off for over a year. I wasn't
Wow.
allowed, you know. So I'll try to connect with you on there and
Crazy.
uh
Huh?
and share your links. People are just fascinated with the information. The ones that will look at it, you know. And
Sure, for
one
sure.
one of the people that was fascinated told me that things on Earth may have went south at first in Haiti.
Say that
Um,
again.
Somebody told me, Lewis Peterson said that one of the places the dark energy aliens or whatever you want to call them, one of the first places they came to Earth was Haiti. I don't know if that's true or not. This is something I heard from Lewis, but it's possible, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I don't have that, speaking specific information, but you could tell with what was going on. Because if you look at IAT, right, it's a condition, right? What you're saying on the mundane activities on a daily basis. But once you embrace that those different worlds, you're gonna see that 80 as different worlds, you see, in which are, important. But when you look at what had happened in July, the earthquakes, there were not earthquakes like this and this. These were as a result of the battles that were going on, you see, on the undergrounds.
Mm,
All right. Yeah. Which has produced at the surface what we saw earthquakes. But you saw that the mainstreams never told you that there was not one earthquakes, but at least 10 during the same time, you see.
mm-hmm,
But these were, um, the effects of the battle were going on, you see. And things has had been to, how can I say though, um, to get a strong on hold, you see, on the inner world. I'm gonna say inner world or inner bases, you see, in order to disrupt what the, you know, I don't know, faction of, malevolent beings were conducting operations, you see, and different, then again, different level of densities or realities. But yeah, so a lot of things, the controls was not, people might see that the controls it's on the surface, you know, underground, because you're dealing with technologies that's not even present at the surface, you see.
mm-hmm.
And when you get a stronghold of special high tech technologies, well, you can simply cause manifestation, then you see the effects at the surface. And that's why you see, economic difficulties, social, unbalances, you see, over decades, over this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's really what's going on behind the scene that have a strong command of what's going on at the surface. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, looking at it, the guy, Peterson, it makes sense.
Yeah, I've in my research says that we're caught in some kind of a time warp right
Oh,
now.
yeah, of course, of course. But it has already been. Yeah. The time war, it has already been. So, of course.
Yeah, and a side effect of it is the Mandela effect. Have you noticed anything to do with the Mandela effect in your life? Like things changing names?
Not for me specifically. All right. probably due to certain reasons, but I was informed the other day by someone that, yeah, was telling me that, you know what? Matt, actually, we came. He was telling me that, hey, listen, there's something that happened regarding the news, but they make it seems that it happened, in the last 2 years, but I knew that news, 8 years ago. So you see, um, but it's not everyone that's gonna be probably witness to it directly, but yeah, of course,
Because
it's there.
I grew up in this town called Point Breeze, but now I find that it's named Lake Erie Beach, and Point Breeze is up on Lake Ontario where I saw the UFO.
Oh wow.
And nobody can explain it to me, Taino. I have friends that live in Point Breeze, and which is called Lake Erie Beach now. And there's a small RV resort there, like a camping area. But the camping area is not called Lake Erie Beach Camping. It's still called Point Breeze.
Mm,
And
wow.
and the other Point Breeze is on Lake Ontario now.
Wow. But that's really fascinating, and thanks for saying this, because now that you're saying it, historically, we're seeing this. So let's say, for example, how can George? Okay, so listen. So if Asir talks about it, you see, and other people as well. But if you had someone, so let's go back, right? Uh, the independence, right? Now it's 1st of July 1776, right? But the independence never occurred in 1776. It was only the declaration. So if you look what declaration means in law, it's only declaring that we want to be free. But at that time, who was let's say the individuals who wanted to be free were being free from who? The British Moors. So who was at the head of the British Moors? King George the third or the second?
Third,
The third in that. Okay, so
I got his painting.
a melanated being, right?
Hmm.
So and then he only accept those groups to be now free from you know the art rulership of the British Moors in 1783, right?
Hmm.
So that's not long time ago, Andrews. You see, you probably went to school in the 70s, 80s.
Yeah.
That's like what? Not even right 200 years. How come? How come it's not known uh, to the people? That's on the continental United States. That really, part of that so-called independence happened really in 1783. With the Treaty of Paris, in which King George III was approved this. And then you check several monarchies were, uh, millennium beings, whether from Portugal, France, and then you see that um, throughout throughout histories, lesson whatsoever, you see that well, if the Queen of England, if we saw what looks like and Olan and this, you're saying, but what happened really? You see, why you're looking at the 1900s, you don't see prints of millennium beings, but yet up until the 1800s, even the first part of the 1800s, you still have millennium beings. But that's one of the information that I was able to download was manipulation of time. You know,
That's
in a way
fascinating.
of in order of manipulating this, that you want to have access to that real footage. which was supplanted by, another visual footage of the things, you see?
Uh-huh.
Because we're not talking about 10,000, 1,000 years. We're talking about 200 and something years. So, but this made me realize as well that I think I shared this to Angela. Cloud, the system cloud that we use, there's already information that is stored in some layers of the atmosphere, and people can reach through this. I'm a perfect example, but it took me time to get this, you see?
Wow.
Yeah, but one of the info was that, yeah, time manipulation, and that's why historically, uh, you would think that things were in a way, but they were not, you see? And they
Wow.
were just being manipulated with this. So, mhm.
Wow, you really blew my mind there, Taino. Wow. We got a lot to think about in the coming years, huh?
Yeah, so that's why to break down what went on the American continent, it makes sense when you retrieve this. So you're gonna see like the monarchy of so-called Spain, where melanated beings, France, the same stuff, Holland, the same stuff, you see, and on and on. And things are not what is being portrayed, you see.
Not at all. I'm
Yeah.
fascinated learning from you guys. I mean, it's just knocked me over. Like I said, every day I'm learning. So
Yeah. So yeah, indeed. But time manipulation, yeah, I agree. It's been using, constantly.
yeah,
But you see, yeah, go ahead.
no, I just want to say that it's right there at the core. I can't explain it. You did way better than I did. I just knew I had to bring it up.
I got you. Yeah. But I'm laughing because it's complex at the same time. But you're seeing that it's not no, it's not by coincidence that in the 2000 things are starting to the truth, or that was supplanted, it's coming right more at the surface or at the face of the people, you see, because there's manipulation in though you do with time that cannot last forever, so you see.
Mm-hmm.
They cannot last forever.
I remember when they took me as a child over to Canada to see the first power installation, and I was very taken with that building for some reason over there. They don't use it anymore. It's kind of like a museum now, but that's where Tesla first gave birth to the modern world, and that had made a lasting impression on me.
What do you remember where it was?
It's in Niagara Falls, Canada. It's still there. You can get a photograph of it from the American side, a really good photograph. I would have to find one and send it to you though. But it's really a cool building to look at and realize that the modern world started right there.
Oh, um, on the so let's say on the other side of the falls.
It's on the Canadian side. It's on your side.
So you could take the bridge. So listen, if you're let's say New York, you territory, you walk the bridge, then you will go to your left,
Yeah.
and it's the building that's almost along the bank.
Yeah, it's the building up where they used to launch the people in the barrels.
I
The
might, you know what?
daredevils. The
I
daredevils would jump in there.
I might have that. I might have photos of this building
Uh-huh.
because I went in the area this summer, and I've seen that building, and I see, oh, you know what? There's something about that building that's probably more old than what it's being said.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're onto something there.
You see, and But I gotta give props. Michelle Gibson talks a lot about these in memorial thing. What you know what? Yeah, I've been able to pinpoint buildings here in Ottawa, Montreal. Hey, listen, those buildings are there since uh, what we call the Middle Age, but here, so you had a lot of castles that were transformed, or castles that the use of it were used as hospitals or hotels, but they're there. But you know what? I'm gonna send you some pictures, Andrew, just to see if I'm I'm referencing to the same building because there's something that I saw. I said, oh no, that building is not there since 100 years. That building's been there for way, way long. You see, so no, uh, it's like I've been able to identify it with the Moors that was already on this continent, but didn't finish that evidence or those investigation.
Hmm. Yeah, and they took us
But
there and they lied to us. They said it was connected to Edison.
you're now you know.
Of course, they're
Yeah,
not going to
now you
tell you the
know.
truth, right?
Yeah, true. Indeed, man. Indeed.
You'd find it too useful.
Hmm.
Well, this has been a great
They
talk, Taino. I really want to thank you for coming on as my guest. And
appreciate this, Andrew.
I know people are going to be fascinated. I know they are.
Well, thank you for having me here, Andrew. And
Yeah. And anytime you want me back, just shout out, man. I'll come back anytime.
oh, for sure. I want to explore, those ancestral beings that you shared to me. I know there's something really fascinating regarding this. You
Oh,
see,
there is. There really is. I feel it too, Taino. I bet
yeah.
Azariah Bay knows something more about it.
All right, all right. So let me know. Let me know when you have. Are you done with those investigation, or you still doing it?
Um, well, I'm always learning. There
No,
have
no,
been,
but about your ancestral, that great father of yours and the great great grandmother of yours.
I would have to hire some kind of genealogist to do more with that because my ancestry is spread all over so much. I'm
Hmm.
Irish, I'm
Hmm.
German,
Hmm.
I'm Russian, I'm part melanated, you know.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I would have to hire somebody. I would probably do that someday because I would find that fascinating. But I'm not going to do the DNA thing, you know.
No, that's your own, choice. But knowing, because you have both names, right? So you might be able to conduct, I'm going to call it, esoteric investigation. Whether if you would go to a, past life regression in order to get more information on why those individuals, you see, you've been able to pinpoint their names and get a good idea of who they were, you see. So that would be one thing, or because you told me your grandma was in Michigan, right? On
Yep,
Michigan, right?
from Michigan.
If
Mhm.
you would appear to know the area, you could go there physically, but
Yeah,
tapping on a metaphysical way, to an experience for
yeah.
you to get information for sure.
I did live there
So,
for a year. I lived in Detroit.
mm,
I felt the connection to the area. I think I ended up taking a job, and I had an aunt that lived there at the time, and she didn't have any children or anything, so she really enjoyed my company for a short time. So I felt the connection to the state.
wow.
And I ended
Yeah.
up living there. You know.
Yeah. 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 So you see, that right there, um, you might get something, and not physical experience, huh? The physical one, but you have to get there physically. But
Hmm. My
yeah.
son loves Detroit too. He goes there just to hang out.
Hmm.
It's
So
weird.
yeah, and if that's where she was, you see, if you could know where, if you wouldn't be able to know where exactly, wow, You could go to, I don't know, like a park, like I mentioned to Angelo, like a park, you see, because you still have information over there, mountains, name it, any natural places, you
Mm-hmm.
see, you would get probably information. Same thing too for your, melanated Irish grandfather or great grandfather. Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay, well, thanks again, Taino. We'll plan this again in the future. Like I said, anytime, man, I'm here.
all right. So
You
no,
need
we already have the connection, Andrew.
Mm-hmm.
So it's already on. All right. So
Yep. You need
thank
anything,
you
I'm your man, okay?
for sure. So thank you for inviting me. Probably share to me, that Facebook page that you share to me. All
Mm-hmm.
right, that's gonna be great. So we gotta give salutes, all right, to the audience that's watching your videos, Andrew. All right, so wherever they are, greetings and salute to you, and as well, Angela. You see, because we're all connected. You see, we're all connected. So gotta thank her as well for being here for the past 2 hours. So
Yeah, we had a great conversation on the phone the
yeah,
other day.
yeah, excellent. I'm glad it happened. You see, so shout out to you guys.
Yeah, she's gonna come on the show too.
Excellent. So just let me know.
Oh, I definitely will. Okay, thanks a
All
lot,
right.
Taino.
Okay. Thank you, Andrew.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye.